And we're about to embark on a trip of a lifetime. We have championed with Chimu Adventures and the McGrath Foundation, and Tracy McGrath and Ken Doan are actually going to Antarctica, and to raise money and awareness for the breast care nurses, they've called it Pinkartica. So as soon as I found out, because of our my association with breast cancer, which is now 10 years gone, thank goodness, John and I decided that yes, we are going to go to Antarctica. The first thing that comes to mind is going, oh my God, we're going to go across that Drake Passage. And I thought, I've got to ring John or come and see John and ask him how we can avoid the dreaded seasickness. So John,
Yay.
Please help me
Yes.
cope with that Drake Passage without being sick.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. And to cope for everybody, actually. Seasickness actually is not what it's called. Seasickness is shock, the human body going into shock. And it goes into shock because we are very old-fashioned in our sensory systems. So our eyes know we're going on a boat, our brain knows we're going on a boat, but our sensory apparatus, which combines to tell us where our body is, doesn't know what a boat is. So what happens is the boat is like a constant earthquake. The ground is moving. As far as our body is concerned, the ground is moving beneath our feet, and it is shocking. So we go into shock. And it's utterly avoidable if we educate our sensory system. Your head does this all the time. Actually, your head does this all the time. When you're going up in a lift, when you're going down in a lift, when you're climbing steps, when you're going for a jog, your head's doing this all the time. And as your head is the centre of the sensory apparatus that's telling you where your body is, I mean, you can close your eyes, you know that your head's here, and you know that your head's tipping, blah-de-blah, right? So when a boat takes your head for a walk, because what a boat does with your head is it moves it from side to side like you're going for on a bit of a jump. If you're sitting at the front of the boat, it does it more. If you're sitting at the back of the boat, it does it less. If you're sitting on the side of the boat, it does it more. And if you're sitting in the centre of the boat, it does it less. So first of all, where you sit and where you stand is important.
Oh wow.
So if you want a stable environment, you're not the kind of person who likes going on showground rides, go to the back and towards the centre. Now what about the apparatus that's telling your body what's happening to your body? Your skin. Get some wind on your skin. So your skin says, I'm going for a walk, because your head is saying, I'm going for a walk. Get some wind on your skin. Take off your hat so that your hair, every one of these hairs is connected to a nerve, so that your hair is getting sensory information. Your hair is saying, oh yeah, I'm going for a walk, I'm in the wind.
So is that why they recommend, if you're feeling a little bit nauseous, to go outside?
Absolutely. But there's a whole bunch of things which are going to happen to you outside, which are all helping your body understand what's going on. And so we've talked about your skin, we've talked about your hair. Now your eyesight, if we come in from your ears, and we go in about 3 centimetres, we come to some tubes which are coiled around. They're the ones which, when we tip our head, tell us that our head is tipped. They're the ones that measure how fast we're accelerating through space. They're the ones that tell us if we're rising and falling. These, but they haven't got eyes. They're blind. All they measure is what's happening with gravity. So, and it's got a very short memory. That part of our sensory system forgets within 20 seconds. And some other time I'll tell you how that has killed a whole bunch of people who go up in planes, but I won't do it now.
No, please not.
No. Okay, so we're now going to talk about what are you going to do about this invisible part of you that's measuring what's happening to your head and doesn't have its own brain and doesn't have its own eyes. Well, it's telling you what's happening. You've got to use your knees, because when you go for a walk, I don't know how much you weigh, keep it private, but I weigh 98 kilos. With every step, I'm getting a shock loading on my left knee, then my right knee, then my left knee of 98 kilos. That's a lot of shock. When my knee membranes experience that shock, they're communicating to my vestibular system, the rest of my body, that I'm walking. Now, if my body believes that I'm walking, my vestibular movement is acceptable. Because when you're walking, when you're going up steps and going down steps, you never go into shock. But if a boat does it to you, you do. The secret is in your knees. So,
you need them.
You do. Oh, God. So I'm going to show you, all right? So, you sway, knees slightly bent,
Yeah.
and you sway. And
Go with you.
Yeah, I'm a bum watcher.
Yeah.
So when my guests are swaying, I can see their backsides are moving. Now, what you're doing is you're actually moving your head. We're trying to slow down the movement in your head. So you have to get a bit more flexible. So you move your hips, and you keep your head still. Your head's still moving.
Oh.
Have a good mind. So come on, Elvis, big Elvis, Mister. So you got to sway.
Yeah.
Keep one hand on the boat because your hand's telling you what's happening.
Yeah.
Your hand's telling you what's happening to your body.
Yeah.
Now you just sway your hips.
Yeah.
And you just do this until your body is satisfied. And you will know when it's satisfied because you'll forget. And you'll stop doing it. If you start to feel unwell, do it again. Now my wife, who gets sick readily, does this. And I don't have the heart to tell her that it's not necessary because I like seeing her moving. All she has to do is sway her ass, but she happens to know that I'm an ass watcher. So she, as a
How many years have you been married?
a token, well, 19. So as a token of her esteem, she says, stuff him, and she goes, which is about as sexy as a hockey stick. So, you got that?
Oh, so we're all going to be on the Antarctic.
Easy capeasy.
Yeah.
So if you do that, what's happening in your nervous system?
You're sitting on the quells.
Well, you won't need them if you do what I say.
Okay.
So what's happening is your knees are saying, I'm walking. Your skin is saying, I'm walking. Your hair is saying, I'm walking. Now, if that's not enough, you can sit down if you go down below and you go for a run while sitting on your seat. And what you do is you lift your right toe, come on. Lift your right toe, leave your heel on the ground, right toe, left toe, right toe, left toe. Now keep it going. Keep it going. You don't have to look, you know where your toes are. So have a look outside, have a look at the world, and especially have a look at something that is still. Keep your feet walking. Don't stop. Right. Now you're looking at something which is still. The reason you're doing that is because you rely hugely on eyesight to know where your body is. Remember I told you that this part of your vestibular system, the inner ear mechanisms, hasn't got eyes? So if you use your eyes to persuade your vestibular system that all is still, within 20 seconds it forgets the motion and believes your eyes. That's why you stare at the horizon. Because the horizon is still. And the fact that the boat is moving on the ocean can be overwhelmed by the visual information. We rely so much on our eyes. That's how you chose John as a partner.
Oh, I know.
You relied on your eyes. So
Yeah.
you didn't let your brain get it. No, it's got nothing to do with heart. It's got to do with chemistry, trust me. So you've got that, so you sway your ass, not your head.
Yeah.
And when you're down below, you're walking. Now, you stopped, didn't you?
Yeah.
And I had to remind you, and that's what you have to do for your friends.
Yeah.
Because when people start to go into shock, bodies go into shock if the information coming to their bodies from their skin, their sensory apparatus, is arguing. So if my head says I'm going for a walk, and my knees do not, I will go into shock, and we'll call it seasickness. No such thing. It's shock. Feels terrible.
So we're going to have a wonderful time, not a shocking time.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if you do this, Within about 3 minutes, you'll be panting. You stop for a reason, it's because you're not fit. If you kept going with this, your body thinks you're running. So your heart speeds up. Take your pulse. See how it speeds up. You can verify what I'm saying to you. As your heart speeds up, you have to lift your head to get enough air. So now you're getting oxygen. Your blood is becoming deeply oxygenated. So you're thinking more clearly because you're going for a run. At the same time, you were designed to run to get to John, to get to a mate, to get away from a mate if you're just not interested in what he's proposing. You were designed to run to get food, and you were designed to run away from danger. 4 things. That's your body design. None of it involves having a crap. So, if you're running away from a tiger, you cannot afford to squat in the bush on the side. So your body very conveniently paralyzes your intestines and your bowel motions, and it paralyzes your ability to vomit. So if you're running on the spot, unless you're a triathlete and you've overtrained, you cannot get sick. There's more. Within 3 minutes, your brain says, oh, well done, Miller, you survived. And you get a shot of endorphin. You know what endorphin is? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So all those people who are popping their ice and doing all the things which they do so they can feel good, they can get their endorphin by just running on the spot. And the endorphin will make them feel good because they survived the invisible dangers. I believe it to be the most significant and effective strategy a human can use to reduce stress. Hovering around the kitchen, slide your feet on the table and go for a run.
That'll be handy.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a stress reduction mechanism. You end up with a shot of endorphin, and hey, humans survive by getting endorphin and feeling good. So can I just come back to, you're going to forget to do this, all right? You'll forget this bit, because what happens is what we call seasickness, the process of going into shock, happens fairly quickly, and it goes through a series of stages. One of the stages is your head collapses and you start staring at your feet. Now you've closed off your oxygen. Secondly, you start feeling powerless and helpless. You become childlike before you become sick. And that sense of powerlessness and hopelessness needs a third party to say, hey, move your feet. Come on, do it. Go on, get involved. Lift your toes. Now, not in the future. Lift them now, go on. And the person will start to slide off and say, no, move your feet, now. And if they don't, you grab their feet and you grab their knees and you make them move. Because we are a history book and we tend to live out what we expect to happen. So if people have a history of feeling crook on a boat, or when their body gets into motion, it needs somebody to step in and close that page and say,
open a new one.
You don't need to do that.
No.
Change where the person's sitting, change how they're sitting. They may be too hot because bodies aren't designed for boats. So when we're going into the wind, we get cold. When we turn around and start going down, all that clothing is superfluous. And we need to take it off because our body cannot cope with body temperature adjustment without our brain thinking about it. So you work as a team, supporting each other and working through this terrible sense that we get when we feel powerless on something that we are not driving, that we are not managing. Well, you can fix it.
Thank you, John.
That's a
awesome.
pleasure.
So now I think I'm looking forward to going across that Drake Passage. So for all of you that have that little bit of intrepidation, have it no longer, because our dear friend John has told us how to fix it. So I look forward to having you join us in Antarctica in November 2015, and for a wonderful cause, the McGrath Foundation. Bye.